Hey everyone, it's Paul Barry at Cape Cod Mail Group. And a few weeks ago, I sent out a video and an email with a questionnaire asking you to answer three basic direct mail questions. And for those of you who are more recent subscribers to this video series, I'll share them with you now. I asked the viewers to answer these three questions. What do you prefer and why? Do you prefer a long letter or a short letter in your direct mail appeals? Do you utilize a closed-faced or a window envelope, and why? And which type of reply envelope do you use? Do you use a business reply where your institution is paying the postage, or a courtesy reply where your donor is asked to affix their own stamp? Now, admittedly, when I sent the survey out, I kind of knew what the answers were going to be. I've been doing this an awfully long time and have asked those questions of many institutions literally over the last 4 decades I've been in the business. And invariably, the answers come back. We like close-faced envelopes because they don't look like a bill. We prefer short length letters because people have short attention spans. And we prefer using business reply envelopes because we don't want people looking around their homes for a stamp. And while all of those things certainly have logic, I've often wondered how often that is really based on fact rather than personal or institutional preference. So the purpose of the survey at all was to get you to question why you do any of those things if you do. Some of the answers that came back could be recapped like this. You know, we like short letters because people have short attention spans. We prefer close-faced envelopes because, you know, they don't look like bills. And we are going to use business reply envelopes because we don't want people looking around the house for a stamp. So again, those are not surprising answers. They seem to be the ones that most people provide. Now, having said that, it was somewhat gratifying because I got 2 responses from 2 institutions that I know quite well. Both are large publics, so they see an awful lot of donors in the course of a fiscal year, many of whom are responding through direct mail. And I know their programs, as I said, I know the individuals overseeing those programs, so it was a bit gratifying to see their rather lengthy answers to the questions, rather than just saying short or long. They gave us reasons why. 1, letter. I'm strongly in the it depends camp for the length of letter. I'm also in the it depends camp for window versus closed-faced. It all depends on the audience I'm mailing to, my audience of 1. And that is exactly the answer I want you to come back to me with in all future questions. It depends. It depends on who you're mailing to. The most important part of any direct mail campaign begins with the person you're mailing it to. You know, I can assure you that if you prefer a window envelope, but if you prefer a closed-faced envelope, versus a window just because it won't look like a bill, I promise you can write a short letter to a non-donor and put it in a closed-faced envelope, and it will probably, that person will still be a non-donor tomorrow. It won't have anything to do with the closed-faced or the length of the letter. It will depend on who you mail it to. Conversely, I've seen people raise $25,000 gifts, mail back in a courtesy reply envelope that the person had to put a stamp on with a $25,000 gift in it, that started with an appeal that was a 2-page letter in a window envelope. So again, it always depends on your list. Another response that kind of recaps the same thing. Letters, it depends on the strategy and the audience. But if I had to choose, typically short letters because the standard attention span is brief. And again, I can't disagree with that, but it shouldn't always be the deciding factor. Envelope also depends on the strategy and the target audience, but if I had to choose, I like closed-faced envelopes because we tend to see a high response rate from the mailings sent with closed-faced envelopes. So there's someone's coming back saying, you know, we've crunched the data. We can justify using a closed-faced envelope, which, by the way, if you're using an outside vendor, probably adds a little bit of cost to the production because you have to address the envelope and then pay them to match the envelope back to the letter. So there's a little extra expense, but they've gone ahead and done the research to justify that additional expense. So if you haven't done that and you're just guessing, here's an institution that's actually tested it out. And finally, they prefer a courtesy reply because I see the stamp, and I love this answer, I see the stamp as the donor's first opportunity to support the institution. So again, the purpose of the whole survey was to get you to question why you do things. And if the answer has always been, that's what we always do here, or I don't think this would work, or my boss won't let me, or that's what we always do here, it's time to question all that. Let your donors decide what they prefer. You do that by testing, which I talk about quite a bit. but by and large, a window envelope will generally not hurt your response rate. A longer letter will not generally hurt your response rate, nor the choice of a courtesy reply. But any of those things will be impacted by who you mail it to. So I hope you enjoy these as I share them along with you. I plan to do a few more questionnaires in the weeks to come, so be on the lookout for those. And until next time, I wish you a wave of results in your appeals, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.